Good morning, everybody. Let's make some cute little holiday shadow boxes. So at the Dollar Tree, they do have these little shadow boxes. Cute, but we're gonna redo them. So first we're gonna disassemble. We're gonna take these apart pretty easy to do. And then we're gonna take down that middle or that center insert and we're gonna fold those flaps down. And then we're gonna take some Redone speckle. You can use air dry clay for this as well too. I just didn't have any on hand, so I thought, why not? Let's use some spackle. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna get a bunch down right on that center back piece, and we're just gonna smooth it out. You want a thick enough layer so that when you put something in to make an impression, I'm going to use stamps. You just want to make sure that there's enough coverage. You can really go as thick as you want though. It's important though to take your little tool and we're just going to scrape in those little creases where the cardboard folds back up. We want to make sure that those are able to fold back up. So we don't want any spackle drying in there or air dry clay. Now we are going to paint the inside of the frame. So just kind of around those edges right there. You guys can use any colors you want, any type of paint, any brand of tape or paint, it doesn't really matter. I went with my faded burlap here, and then I did end up going over it with some reds. And again, just making sure that I have nothing in those creases or on the edge because, as I said, we are going to be folding those back up. So we're going to set those aside, and now we are going to do the front part of the frame. So I'm just tearing off the ribbon that they had hooked onto it because we're going to do our own. So in my head, I planned on doing a Santa Claus and a snowflake on two different one of these. So this one's going to be the snowflake, so I definitely wanted some blue. And then for the Santa Clauses, we're going to do some red. Now, as you can see, I'm using different paint. I use chalk paint, the blue, and then for the red, I'm just using acrylic paint that I had laying around. And I'm grabbing my, that was a little tough to open, my Dixie Belle Gator Hide. This is just a sealant, and I am just going to apply it on the blue frame because I use chalk paint. I am going to be taking my black wax, go figure, to kind of age these frames up a little bit. And I need to seal the chalk paint first in order to do that so that I'm able to wipe that black wax back. If I don't seal it, it's just going to make everything really, really dark. And I don't want the whole thing dark, just in certain areas. So by sealing it, it'll allow me to pull back some of that black in certain areas I don't want it. But with the acrylic, it was pretty easy. The wax wipes off really, really super easily. Obviously, it is acrylic paint. But so I just kind of took my paper towel and just dabbed some of that black wax off instead of actually rubbing it off. Cute. So now it's time to start to reassemble. So all those corners we're gonna put, oh, I take that back. We are stamping. That's what we're doing. I can't see because the little recording strip is right over the bottom, so it's hard to see what I'm doing when I edit these. So yes, I took my stamps from, these are all from Iron Orchid Design. You could go to Hobby Lobby or Michael's and get other stamps too if you like. One of the Snowflake is part of their new Snowflake series that just came out, which is super cute, their winter stuff. And then the bigger one I'm using in the background is Kindest Regards, and it's basically just cursive. It's written like one big cursive letter. So I put the snowflake down first, and then I'm leaving that stamp in, and I put my Kindest Regards over because I want to get those letters around that snowflake as close as I can. So I'm just really focusing on pushing down all those letters and those words. And then we'll take the snowflake off, and voila. Now, as you can see too, I use the dry decks. So it's pink when it's wet, it's white when it's dry, which is awesome. But you're gonna wait until it's kind of partially white. So that way you can tell it's ready in order to stamp. Now, if you used air dry clay for this, you guys, obviously you could just stamp and then let it sit. It'd probably be easier, to be honest, as far as wait time. But as I said, I wanted to use up some of my spackles. So it'll go on pink. When it starts to get a little white, that's the perfect time to do your impression. And there's our Santa Claus. And so we're going to wait for those to dry, but we are gently going to reassemble the seams here. So I'm just taking my hot glue and I'm just going up the corners, and we're just going to pinch and hold until it sets, until it solidifies. And then once the corners are set up, I will be putting that top frame back on it just to hold it in place overnight. But later on, we'll disassemble it again and then put the glass in. So as you can see here, there's the frame, but I don't have the glass in just yet. And now I'm just going over it with, I dry brushed with blue on the top. That's why you could see some color. And now I'm going back in with that black wax again because I want it down in all those little details, all those letters that we did and all the little parts of the snowflake. And then I'm just taking a paper towel and I'm wiping that back off the high points. Again, when you're wiping back wax, you want to constantly turn your rag so that you're not smearing the wax. You just want to get it off. So looking pretty cool so far. Then I took my gold gliders wax and just in certain areas, not everywhere, but certain areas, I just kind of dragged it over the high points just to add a little more depth. Now we're going to put that glass back in. Ta-da! And now we're going to secure that. We're going to glue those edges. Okay, I decided that I was going to put a hanger on this one. The other one's going to be freestanding, the Santa. But this one, I wanted the option to have it either just sit on my entertainment center or mantle, or hang it if I choose. So I'm just taking my jute, tying a knot in one end, gluing it to the back. And then I'm taking these wood beads that I found at Walmart. I believe they were like $5 for a whole bag. Silver, gold, and pine, and we're just going to use the gold and the, I think it's pine. We're going to use the gold and the just plain wood bead. And we're going to alternate those. I apologize for my raspy voice. I'm pretty sure I'm coming down with a cold. So then you just kind of eyeball it and see how long you want your hanger to be. And then when you've decided, knot it on the other end and glue it down. And then I also went around the sides with some gold wax as well. So here's Santa, and as I said, I wanted him to stand. So remember those Jenga blocks, those tumbling towers we got at Dollar Tree for the last tutorial? Yep, you're gonna have leftover pieces, so let's utilize them. I'm just sticking them right underneath the frame with some hot glue, and that'll help them stand securely. And here are stills of both of them. With Santa, some of the impressions around his face didn't take as well as I'd wanted him to. So I did kind of go through with a pencil, colored pencil, some acrylic paint, and just kind of hit high and low points just to bring out his features a little bit more. And then kind of touched a little gold gliders wax in certain areas as well. So I think he turned out all right. And here's our snowflake one. They look flat in the pictures, but I mean, they are three-dimensional, so they're even cooler in person, you guys. So this one I can freestand or I can hang it. I think I took a couple pictures of it hanging as well, so. But yeah, just a couple fun ideas just for holiday accents. If you guys have any questions, just feel free to message me and I will answer them for you. Have a good day.